And what do you know? The thing, after 10 minutes of screen activity, the thing shut off and it ended my recording. I was saying that Ant-Man, I think it can work for Ant-Man because it kind of fits the tone. Because I thought like Ant-Man would be kind of like comedic, but I mean, kind of have that kind of tone where it works. So, and that's what I was saying, is that I think it works for that. It can work for, I can't really say it can work for Guardians of the Galaxy, because I mean, I've seen Volume 2 and it's not bad, but it's a little overrated, if you ask me. But anyways, what was I saying about that? So I still need to see Black Panther to make up my mind. Anyways, I didn't even finish my whole thing with the thing. My overall opinion or whatever. I will say that at least Thor Ragnarok isn't irrelevant to the MCU as a whole, like Iron Man 3, because of three things. Thor getting a much needed power boost. He's supposed to be the strongest Avenger. Iron Man, Captain America overshadowing him in the MCU by showing how great they are kind of gets tiring. Or just like really like going into them, and mainly going into Iron Man, that gets tiring. Now, if only Spider-Man wasn't Tony Stark's little man bitch, all would be balanced in the MCU. At least for me. I saw the end credits scene, and this isn't on my overall thing. I saw the end credits scene with Grandmaster saying about, like, ending it with, it's a tie. I guess it's a subtle joke to end it out. I mean, I ended the movie after it finished, after the scene. I was like, well, that was a thing. I mean, it just, there were things I liked, but I mean, I think even for some people that do like the MCU movies, there have been some people saying the past few years that it's just been kind of getting repetitive. It's kind of getting repetitive. I think the only reason why people haven't left yet, to a degree, is because of Avengers. So, I mean, all I can say is, with either Phase 4 or whatever, or any film after Avengers 4, I mean, they're gonna have to really put a huge amount, I mean, like, really put, I mean, other than, like, really put a huge amount of effort into ensuring that people stay watching the movies. Because I can tell you now, some people, they're already saying with the rumors of Marvel going SJW in the MCU with Iron Riri. I'll say this, if Kevin Feige ever were to somehow see this, or if one of my subscribers knows him, or could tweet it out to him, that's easy because I don't have Twitter, and I mean, y'all probably have it. You could tweet out to him. You can tell him, Feige, if you really are planning a Iron Riri movie or an Ironheart movie with Riri Williams, do us all a favor. Do not read her comics. You can get like the visual costume, like visually get her costume, whatever. Do not read her comics. Do not take off of her personality in the comics. She is a egotistical, sociopathic, bitch-ass Mary Sue. I mean, even if she's not a Mary Sue, she's still an unlikable character. I watched a fan film, and they did a better job at making her a likable character. She wasn't all, like, egotistical or, like, I must defeat you, therefore, if I defeat you, I'm better than you. Because I saw that crap with Thanos. she tried taking down Thanos, and Thanos rightly, like, defeated her. And then, unfortunately, I guess that comic proved irrelevant, because then spoiler alert, I heard they killed off Thanos, which is just, like, I guess it's SJW Marvel getting their revenge. He took out Riri Williams, and now he must die. But then again, I mean, it might be an interesting story. I don't think Thanos has ever really been killed, especially in the brutal way he was killed in the comic. In which, whatever comic it was, Infinity Wars or whatever it was. So yeah, that was my thoughts on the movie. It was okay. It was a thing. I think, honestly, I'll like Black Panther and Ant-Man and the Wasp way more. But like I said, that's what I'm saying, that they really need to ensure that with things. And honestly, I hope the rumor of Iron Riri isn't true, because for two reasons. One, they could literally do Iron Man 4, 5, 6 with Rhodey. I mean, I'm not even huge into Iron Man, but any person who at least knows about the characters, and I've know a good history of both. I know a lot of history with DC, and I know somewhat, amount with Marvel. So I mean, you could literally do it, because last I checked, Rhodey is a man. So just do Iron Man 4, 5, 6 with him. You could see, like, they could find a way, if they have to, they could have, like, Robert Downey Jr. can make little cameos. And they could literally use Iron Man 4, 5, 6 with Rhodey. They could actually bring in the real Mandarin. So I mean, you have another character, and, like, literally right there, and you could do 3 films. Nobody would mind it. People would be fine with it. So you have that as an example, instead of just going straight into Iron Riri, or Iron Heart, whatever. And then another thing with X-Men and eventually Fantastic Four, because X-Men, the movie rights were owned by Fox. From what I've heard, Constantine Films owns the movie rights to Fantastic Four, so they have X-Men back. I guess they're in the process of getting Fantastic Four back. So if they get X-Men back, like, if they're getting that back, you have, and there's so many stories and so many characters from X-Men. They could literally not even have it in the MCU. They could have it in its own universe, and I'd be happy. I'd be happy with it. And then, like, eventually, if everybody, like, including myself, eventually I would want this, they could bring the X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That way, then Storm can get married to Black Panther. Storm can get married to Black Panther. They could have, Spider-Man and Wolverine can be bros. That sort of stuff. So, I mean, given the fact that that's what I'm saying, given the fact that they could use Rhodey for Iron Man 4, 5, and 6, and with X-Men, and eventually Fantastic Four returning, they don't need to get into the newer characters. Feige previously said a couple years ago they weren't going to get into new characters or new stories. So, and that's kind of his subtle way of saying, I know it's his subtle way of saying, I know Marvel has kind of gone off the rails with most of their characters, so we'll just focus on the characters we have right now. So I hope this is what's going to be happening, because at least that they just focus on, like, older characters, focus on at least, like, newer characters that worked would be fine. Miles Morales, to me, would be fine. Kamala Khan would be fine. I really hope, and they've been really hinting at this, that Wiccan might be showing off Scarlet Witch's son, Wiccan and Speed. Billy and Tommy. So, I really hope that happens. I really hope I don't have to wait 14 years to see them in live action. They were already saying something about, the possibility of time travel mumbo jumbo. And also recasting, Scott Lang's daughter, Cassie, with some 16-year-old girl in Avengers 4. So, don't know why they've gone and casted twin baby boys and not teenagers. But Feige, and that's another thing, Feige's been on the talk about bringing in Young Avengers. So you bring in Young Avengers, bring in Wiccan and Speed. I mainly want to see Wiccan, but bring in the twins, please. But then again, I don't know, because a big part of the character, it's not, the character is already a very compelling, interesting character on his own, but another big part of the character was his relationship with Teddy. So, I don't know if the MCU, despite the fact that, I think the closest they've had to a gay character in their films was, I think the actress for Valkyrie confirmed that her character, which was a new character, was bisexual. There wasn't really anything in the film to confirm it, other than one scene that may have confirmed it, but I don't know. I hope they can do, something soon. I mean, I've always thought Wiccan had, a really cool design, and I'm like, that's what I'm saying, I don't want to have to wait another 14, 15 years. If they're going to go the route of casting two twin baby boys, and then waiting, they'll totally screw it up, because they're already starting to get the Young Avengers together, because you already have Cassie in Ant-Man. You have the little girl. Feige said himself that they're trying to make subtle little things connecting to Young Avengers. That they already have Cassie. They cast a 16-year-old girl to play Cassie in Avengers 4. So I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to do this, then just, if you're going to bring, if you're really going to do Young Avengers, then because with Marvel, they keep stuff limited to trilogies. So by the time, if they go the route of bringing in two baby boys and then just waiting 14, 15 years and then use Wiccan and Teddy, or not Wiccan and Teddy, Wiccan and Speed, Billy and Tommy, then a trilogy would have already long passed. And it just, the Young Avengers have had 0 adaptations in anything. They've had a couple of comics, but they've never been adapted in live action. They've never been adapted in animation. So either, and if you're going to screw it up in the MCU, then you know what? Try to have, maybe you can rival, if Marvel, if you're going to start giving a shit about your animation again, then you know what? You could at least, maybe you could try to compete with Young Justice. Maybe you can make a Young Avengers cartoon. Maybe do that. That'd be great. I'd watch that. So anyways, I've gone way off topic. Anyways, so that was my thoughts on the film. But And I just want to, I hope I can make it clear, I'll be more positive towards Black Panther and Ant-Man the Wasp. Because, I mean, at least to me, I think those will be fun, and it won't be, I don't know, it won't be, I don't know. I mean, people liked Thor. If people liked it, that's great. At least it was. At least, you know, that made it. That made a profit. That was a hit. So, you know, it did succeed. I'm not trying to take that away. I just didn't really care for it. I don't think it was just because I'm not a huge fan of Thor. It's just, it was all right. Anyways, I'm rambling. So this is Edward West Summers signing out.